And Florence, how old are you?
107. I was born in Santa Monica at 7th and Broadway.
This is a story about Santa Monica you've probably never heard before. It happened in 1939 when gambling was illegal in California. And it centers on a charming underworld figure, gambling boats, and a siege in the waters off of Los Angeles that ended, improbably, with a haircut. This episode has a name: the Battle of Santa Monica Bay.
Saturday nights, all Santa Monica would come up and you would meet everybody in Santa Monica.
First of all, this was during the Great Depression, so it was a big deal to have a night on the town. You would dress in your best clothing, and you would purchase fare on a water taxi.
There was that big boat 3 miles out. I never did go to it, but my husband went out on it, and they all enjoyed it, because some of them were gamblers.
Although gambling was illegal on land, floating casinos that began operating in the 1920s took advantage of an apparent loophole. California waters extended only 3 nautical miles offshore, so operating farther out in the deep seemed to skirt the law.
Gambling operations were run by mobsters. Those were the people who were experienced with it already and also knew how to basically cheat the system best. Tony Cornero was a showman. He liked to look good. He liked people to know who he was. When he acquired his own fishing barges and converted them to gambling ships, and the most prominent being the wrecks, he wanted everybody to know it was Tony Cornero's. He took out full-page ads in the Los Angeles Times. He made no secret about, what his operation was.
By 1939, California Attorney General Earl Warren was desperate to stop the gambling boats. He ordered they shut down, hitting their operators with public nuisance charges, which they promptly ignored.
Tony refused to shut down his operations, and so the government sent out boats to try and board the wrecks. Every time the government would try to board his boats, they were rebuffed with water hoses. No gunfire, and he would not surrender until time came. He declared that he needed a haircut, so he surrendered.
A few months after the raid, the California Supreme Court ruled that the state's jurisdiction extended 3 miles from an imaginary line in the ocean connecting Santa Monica Bay's 2 headlands, Point Dume and Point Vicente. Now, California waters extended about 15 miles from Santa Monica shore. The decision effectively ended the era of LA's gambling boats.
The point that they could operate legally was too far a journey for the patrons to actually want to take. When I began to hear the stories of what the pier used to be, it really gripped me that there were stories about my home that I was discovering, and as a result wanting to learn more and be able to share it with other people.